But we are tonight. Hi, everybody. Hi, Julia. Hi, everybody. We're in our own cocoon. We're in our own safe place.
Hi, Dr. Faye.
Hi. We're in our own. I'm so happy you're here. So happy you're here.
Likewise.
Thank you. Great. Amazing. We're really our family over here. It's very exciting. So here we are. And tonight's topic should be interesting. It should be very, very interesting. Of course, I always like to hear the ideas for topics from each of you. That's always the best way to get to know that we're going in the right direction. So this idea about tonight's topic about healing from a relationship and moving on was brought up by somebody in the group. I won't say who it was. I'm not sure if that person wants me to say their name. So I won't say who they are, but maybe later they want to say that it was their idea, because I think it's really very universal. It's a really universal topic. So let's begin by talking about relationships in general. Relationships really are the most important things in our lives. They are just the most important thing, always. When we go through life, the first thing we ever talk about is relationships. And was it a good relationship? Was it a hurtful relationship? Was it a relationship that built me up? Was it a relationship that put me down? Was it a relationship that I gained from? Did this person teach me, or did this person hurt me? But you know what? No matter what, whether the person put me up or whether the person put me down, one thing that we always need to know about relationships, one thing that is true about every relationship, it is an opportunity to learn about yourself. And that is completely global. That is universal. It doesn't matter if the relationship is a romantic relationship. It doesn't matter if the relationship is a business relationship. It doesn't matter if the relationship was a good relationship or a bad relationship. But if you allow yourself to think about how you are in a relationship, then you are allowing yourself an opportunity of a lifetime to learn about yourself and to grow from this experience. And I think that that's something that we really need to talk about tonight. Now, very often we come out of relationships incredibly heartbroken. We're so hurt by the relationship, and it has just done something to us. And sometimes we come out of a relationship and it's such an incredible relief to get out of the relationship. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm done with that relationship. Here's my opportunity to do things that I want to be doing. Whereas while I was in the relationship, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I was so busy trying to satisfy the person, trying to get the person to love me, trying to get the person to give me happiness. And I was so busy devoting myself to the relationship that I didn't have an opportunity to do things for myself. And I didn't have an opportunity to nurture my own self. I was so busy nurturing the other person. So the question is, was the relationship a relationship of self-expansion? Was it a relationship where I grew from the relationship, that this person helped me grow? Or was it a relationship that was a stagnant relationship? Stagnant meaning I didn't grow from this relationship. The person didn't give me an opportunity to grow together with them. The person was so self-centered, so narcissistic, so involved with themselves that they didn't really give me any happiness in the relationship. I didn't have any personal growth in the relationship. I didn't have a chance to discover myself. And that's the opportunity that you have to think about when you think about the relationship that you come out of with a sense of relief. You now have an opportunity for happiness. You have an opportunity now for personal growth. You have an opportunity for happiness, for personal growth, and an opportunity to rediscover yourself. So it's very important to understand that, yes, you might be coming out of a relationship and you are heartbroken. And that pain, we're going to talk about that pain tonight. That pain is really, it hurts a lot. But you also have an opportunity to come out of that relationship with the same idea of being in pain, but yet with the idea that this is an opportunity for me now. This is relief for me. I can grow more now. It's almost a relief. How many times have you come out of a relationship, or maybe we'll talk about it tonight? Have you come out of a relationship where you said, thank goodness I can do what I want to do right now. It's not about the other person. It's a rare opportunity. And the only time we recognize that opportunity is when we're out of that relationship. So I just lost you for a second, but I'll get you back, I think. 1 minute. Where are you?
Dr. Faye, we have you. We
Yeah.
are.
Oh, you have
we are
me,
with
but I don't
It's
have
wonderful.
you. Okay, but I lost you somehow, somewhere along the way over here.
We are all
I have
attention.
you back.
We're all
I have
ears
you back.
and eyes.
Okay, so that was my introduction to what we're going to talk about in terms of I'm validating the importance of relationships. Never feel bad about that the relationship is so important to you. All I'm thinking about is the relationship. All I'm thinking about is the breakup. I'm obsessing all the time. All I keep thinking about is when we were together. All I'm thinking is about the times that we enjoyed each other. Do not feel bad that your brain and that you're spending so much time thinking about your relationship. It is normal. Relationships are the most important thing in our life, the most important. And again, remember, it could be a love relationship, but it could also be a romantic, a business relationships. That is what life is about. So there are 3 steps I want to talk about tonight in terms of relationships, in terms of breakups. Okay? Because that's what we're talking about tonight, right? We're talking about breaking up and healing from the relationship and moving on. So the first thing that we all have to recognize is what happens when we end a relationship. We are upset. We are very, very, very upset. And what do we do with this upset? Well, what happens is that in the upset, we feel like we've been hurt. We feel like we've been dumped. We've gotten dumped. Whether we ended the relationship or whether the other person ended the relationship, we feel like our dreams have been lost. We entered the relationship. We were so happy. We were so in love. What happens when you start a relationship, right? What happens? You have all these dreams, all these wonderful things, and you're living the dream. You're the person in the park holding hands with somebody that you love. You're the person in the park that's just so happy. You're conversing with somebody and you're relating to them and they're talking to you and you're talking to them and you're on the same wavelength that they're on. And then suddenly the relationship is over. Maybe not suddenly, maybe it's it's a breakup that happened over a period of time, but the relationship is over. Now, what do we do? What do we all do at the end of a relationship? We're upset. We're so upset. And what do? We avoid the feeling. We cannot tolerate that feeling, that hurt that we are going through. We know, we will say, it's awful. I feel so awful. I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel so terrible. I don't know why I feel like this. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. And we're so upset. The word is really upset. And we start blaming the person, right? We blame them. Oh, they were such a not good person. They were so not nice to me. We find all the things that are wrong with them, right? We come up with really concrete stuff about them. Oh, they were abusive to me. Oh, they weren't nice to me. Oh, they didn't buy me things. They didn't buy me gifts. We have a lot of blame. We're very, very upset. Does everybody identify with that feeling? We're really, really upset. But we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to tolerate the feeling. Instead of us saying, oh, I feel bad. I feel abandoned. I feel dumped. I feel like this person just, my dreams that I had, I don't have those dreams anymore. I'm just like, I'm at a dead end. I had dreams. Very, very often, what most of us do is it hurts so much that we can't tolerate the hurt. And instead, we avoid those feelings. We avoid thinking about the feelings that we're having. And it's not the right way to end a relationship. In order to end a relationship, very key, very, very key, what I'm going to say now. In order to end a relationship and to move on to the next relationship, we have to close the door on that other relationship. We have to finish it. There has to be closure on that relationship. We have to say that relationship is over. Well, guess what? The only way to make that relationship be over is by tolerating the feelings of loss that we have about the relationship, is by allowing ourselves to be there instead of running away from it and making yourself busy and going out with friends and saying, oh, I'll get over it. Time heals all wounds. That's what they say. Time heals all wounds. Well, guess what? Time doesn't heal all wounds if you don't work along with time. It's not like you're going to wake up in the morning after a hangover and the hangover is going to disappear and suddenly you'll be fine. The hangover will be gone. Relationships are not like that. Relationships need to go through a process. And step number one of that process is tolerating the feeling. Tolerating the feeling of loss, tolerating the feeling of, I had dreams and I don't have those dreams anymore. And it's painful. It's painful because none of us want to go to a place that's painful. Why would I go to a place that's painful when my friends are saying to me, just get over it. Come out with us. Let's go out for drinks. Come out with us. Let's go to a party. You'll get over it. Just let's move on. Just get over it. Your friends are not doing you a favor by doing that for you because they're not allowing you the time to do what? To tolerate the feeling. And, although the feeling might be painful, it's only at the beginning that it's painful. Once you allow yourself to identify the feeling, it almost feels good. You're connecting with yourself. You're allowing yourself a connection with yourself. I feel very sad that the relationship is over. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're talking about relationships that are romantic relationships. They can be business relationships also. Very often you take on a business partner, right? And you think, wow, this partner is going to be really good. We are going to make it big. We're going to make it really big. And it starts out and you're doing so well together. The business is thriving, you're doing well. And then one day your partner shows up and says, you know what, we're doing so well together that I'm going to go off on my own. How painful is that? Because you had dreams of moving on with this partner and suddenly you feel like you are being dumped. You're very upset. And with that, again, allow yourself to tolerate that feeling that you have been dumped. That feeling, we're also afraid of tolerating feelings because we think, oh, I can't tolerate it. I'm just going to I can't make it through the feeling. Not true. You're not going to die from feelings. Feelings do not kill you. Actions kill you. Feelings do not kill you. Thoughts will not kill you. It'll help you. Why? Because the topic for tonight is for you to move from one relationship that was over into another relationship. What do you need to do? You need to finish it. You need to close the door on that relationship. So let's, for example, if we're talking about this relationship, about this business relationship, once you close the door on it, you say, this was very painful. I had dreams of becoming a multimillionaire together with this person. And now I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm afraid. Can I really do it by myself? I really thought I could do it with that person. How can I do it by myself? Am I really strong enough to do it by myself? That conversation with yourself, that tolerating of that feeling of being frightened. Can I do it alone? I'm alone. That will bring you to a better place. That will make you grow. That will give you an opportunity to grow. So that's step number one, that you're upset and you're going to tolerate the feeling of being upset. Step number two, it's a different one than being upset. Upset, you're upset. Step number two is, tell me if you can identify with this feeling. You're bent out of shape. You're really just messed up. You just can't get back to your normal place. You've lost your center. You just can't get back to who you were. Before this breakup, you were so happy, not because necessarily the person, but that was who you were. You're a happy person. You were okay. People asked you your opinions, you gave them your opinions. People asked you for advice, you gave them advice. Suddenly you're bent out of shape. You just feel unworthy. You know what you do? Terrible thing what we do to ourselves. We start blaming ourselves. We actually have self-blame. We have self-doubt. We start saying to ourselves, well, if that person dumped me, it's probably me. There must be something wrong with me. You've gone from step number one of being upset. I kind of liked upset more because I like being able to have someone to blame. That always feels better. I would prefer to blame the other person than go to step two, which is self-doubting myself. But we all do it. We end up doubting ourselves. We say to ourselves, well, was I really not kind the way the person said? Whoa, was I really maybe stingy? Am I really not a nice person? Like, you start thinking about all the things that they said to you about you, and you've already internalized them. You've heard them. And after you're finished blaming the other person, you're thinking about yourself and you're thinking, you know what? I'm like a jerk. And your self-confidence, oh my gosh, the relationship is over. And your self-confidence, oh, it's in the ground. You have no self-confidence whatsoever. Even if, I'll tell you, crazy thing. I have clients, wonderful people, terrible thing happens. Their partner cheated on them. Terrible. What could be worse than a partner who cheats on you? Do you know that these people, they're not the one who cheated, the one who was cheated on, they actually start blaming themselves and they say, man, I must be a real jerk that I didn't notice this. How could I not have seen that this person was cheating on me? And they're blaming themselves. They haven't even done anything wrong. They were a completely innocent victim in this relationship. But yet at step number two, with the self-doubt, they're doubting themselves. They're saying, oh, it's my fault. I should have paid more attention. And if I would have paid more attention, I would have realized that this person was out with somebody else. But they haven't done anything wrong. So in that second part, we feel broken. We blame ourselves. And for some of us, it's a very familiar blaming ourselves. So this is stuff that comes up for us from when we were children. Did we get blamed for things? And did we start taking responsibility? So it's a familiar feeling. So we end up going there. And that familiar feeling of blaming ourselves is from when we were a child. And again, same thing as with step number one, that we're upset. We need to stay there and feel the feeling. I'm upset with the person. Step number two, even more important, the self-doubt, the self-confidence in the ground, the feeling of self-blame. We have to stay with that feeling. You have to talk about it. I'm not saying you have to run to a therapist. I'm certainly not saying that you have to do that. If you're coming out of a relationship and you're depressed and you're staying in bed for 3 weeks and you're not eating and you're drinking and yes, go to a therapist. But if it's a breakup that is going through the normal process of grieving and loss, you don't need to run to a therapist. You just need a good friend that you could talk to, a good friend that you could say to them, I'm feeling really lousy about this breakup. Can we talk about it? I want to ask you something. Am I really a bad person? Am I really a stingy person? Like this person made me feel? Let me ask you something. Am I very naive? Do you think I was really stupid? I should have known that that person was going out with other people. And that's what friends are for. They're for friends to say to you, you know what? No, you're not a bad person. You're you're not a stingy person. So that's a really important point. Again, same theme. Are you going to run away from the feeling of lack of self-confidence? Are you going to run away from the feeling of feeling like I'm to blame? No, you're going to stay with it. Why? Because it's part of finishing up the business of that particular relationship. You have to close the door on that relationship in order to open the door of a new relationship. So when people say that they're going into a relationship on the rebound, what does that mean? They're going into a relationship on the rebound. Does that mean that they haven't finished the relationship and they're moving into another relationship? It's not a great idea because generally you're going to walk in with all of that baggage that you had from your previous relationship, all of those suitcases of stuff, all that stuff. You're going to walk into the rebound relationship together with all of that stuff from your prior relationship. So you want to end that stuff. You want to close the door. You want to close that compartment and you want to come into the relationship without all of your suitcases. If you're feeling angry, you want to talk to your friends about it. I'm feeling so angry. I'm feeling so angry. They really hurt me. And can you get there? Can you get there on your own without therapy? I believe so. I definitely do believe so. Because guess what? We all go through it. We all go through breakups. We all go through hurt in relationships. It's a part of life. It's just one of the stages of life. And it's something you get through. And while you're going through it, you think, oh, I'm never going to survive this. But you will, because remember what we said at the beginning. There is something about coming out of a relationship, whether it was a good relationship or a bad relationship, but there's something about coming out of a relationship that's very positive. And that very positive is that you have an opportunity for personal growth. You have an opportunity of discovering yourself over again. You have an opportunity to follow your dream, things that you want to do, things that you're not doing for the sake of another person, things that you're doing for yourself. Okay, step number 3. Step number 3 is interesting because there are two very conflicting feelings. One feeling is that you're feeling very, very angry, right? But on the other hand, you also have a feeling of grieving. Now, how is that possible? How could you feel both of them? If you've ended the relationship and you're feeling angry, then why are you grieving about the relationship? Grieving means you're feeling loss, right? So are you feeling loss about the relationship? Or are you feeling angry about the relationship? Are you feeling very upset about the relationship? Where does loss come in? Loss is like when we think of loss, we think, oh, loss is about somebody that I love. Loss is about, God forbid, my mother dying. Loss is about my father dying. Loss is about losing somebody that I love. Well, if I'm feeling angry and upset about the person, where's the loss? What's the loss that I'm feeling? What's the grieving that I'm feeling? Is there something wrong with me? So is there something wrong with me? Why would I be grieving about this relationship? That's not normal. But guess what? It is normal. Because what is it that you're grieving? What are you grieving? You're grieving the loss of the dream. When you started the relationship, all these dreams were connected for you. They were created for you. You had all these dreams. And now you have loss. It's over. And again, it sounds so sad. Well, Dr. Faye, why would I want to think about that? I don't want to think about loss. I'd rather go out with my friends. They keep telling me, come out with us, come to the movies, come out, let's go out. Let's not think about it. Let's go out drinking. No, I say, stay there. Stay with the loss. Yes, it might be painful, but will pain kill you? No, feelings will not kill you. Actions will kill you. Feelings will only make you grow. Learning about yourself is an opportunity for growing. The greatest glory is in rising up. It's in rising above, on top of it. That breakup can bring you to a place where you're going to be a better person, where you're going to be more than you were before the breakup. So in this third one, when we're talking about the grieving, what do I think you should do? How do I think, what's the step I think you should take? It's about saying goodbye, accepting the fact that the relationship is over, accepting the losses, accepting to yourself that this is not the person I'm going to be married to. This is not the person that I'm going to have children with. This is not the person that's going to walk through my dream with me. Now, it all sounds so sad. And like you're all thinking, well, Dr. Faye, why are you talking to us about something so sad? Because from allowing yourself to tolerate the feeling, you will become a growing person. You will allow yourself to focus on the growing part of this breakup. Staying in the part of running away from it is not going to help you with the growing. The growth comes from allowing yourself the feeling of it. So I think I really wanted to talk about that. I always love doing little exercises with you, but I want to do a little bit of a review over here of what we're talking about before we do an exercise. So I want to talk about the importance of finishing unfinished business, which means ending the relationship, closing the door on the relationship. Again, does time heal all wounds? No, I think that it's a process that you have to participate in. You're going to be experiencing the feelings. You're not going to be running away from the hurt. You're going to be accepting the fact that relationships are the most important things in our lives, and that, yeah, you're heartbroken, you're hurt, you're upset. Step number one, yes, you're upset. You're blaming the other person. You're angry at the other person, but you're going to identify the feeling of what you're feeling. Step number two is you're going to blame yourself. And again, you're going to identify those feelings. And step number three is that you're going to allow yourself to feel the loss, the grieving, because there is loss and there is grieving. And that's really how somebody goes from the feeling of heartbreak to healing. It's by going through the process of allowing yourself to feel these feelings. So I'm wondering, like I'm imagining that we're all on over here, and that if we are on, then we're all identifying with the feelings of breakup and loss. So we could do an exercise. I could also open it up to questions first before we do our exercise, because I know there are a lot of questions. So do you want to go there first? Do you want to, before I do an exercise, I don't want to.
Dr. Faye, it's up to you.
Yeah, I would open up for questions.
Wonderful. So people can unmute. Anybody who wants to ask a question, please unmute yourself.
Does the closure have to be like on your own? Or does it necessarily have to be with the other person? Like if the person ghosted you or just stopped talking to you, then how do you really have closure?
That's a great question. So it's a really great question, because I was debating whether I should give you the finale, but you opened it up, so I will. So there are 3 opportunities at the end of a relationship. It was a great question. So one opportunity is forgive and forget. What does that mean? That means you're forgiving the person, you're going to forget about it, and you're going back into the relationship. In that kind of a situation, you're going to have a conversation with the person that you're in a relationship with. You're going to go back into the relationship and you're going to have a conversation with them because you would like to go back into the relationship. The second one is forgive, but don't forget, which means I forgive you. I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming me. I'm experiencing loss. I'm experiencing the grief, but I'm not interested in coming back into a relationship with you. So that's the second one. And what's the third one? The third one is don't forgive and don't forget. I am not interested in having anything to do with you again. I'm not forgiving you, and I'm not forgetting what you did to me. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. And at that point, the relationship is over.
I have a question.
Yep.
Doctor, do you think that, let's say, after a period of 10 years or 8 years, if you're still in the mode of if you're in the mode of don't forgive, don't forget, is this inappropriate or is this understandable? What do you think about that? Like 10 years after, is it too much to have the feeling of don't forgive, don't forget? Or do you think that after 10 years, people should maybe move on and maybe forgive or forget?
It's a great question, because guess what? Every person here that's listening to you is ready to ask that same question. And the answer is no, I don't think that there's anything wrong with you if still 10 years later, you haven't forgiven them and you haven't forgotten them. They've hurt you. And, I will never get over it. I will never forgive you. I don't really want to have anything to do with you, ever. I think you're a horrible person. You hurt me. And I don't want to have anything to do with you. Why would that be a bad thing to feel 10 years later, 20 years later, 40 years later? I think it's fine. I think it's a great question. But I hear more in your question, Ronnie. You're asking me, if I'm still angry at that person, does that mean I still have emotions for that person? Does that mean I didn't close the door? No. The answer is, yeah, you did close the door. You closed the door. And in closing the door, you said, guess what? I don't forgive you. And I will not forget what you did to me. But I'm done with you. I've gone through the feelings. I've tolerated the emotion. I've tolerated the feelings of you putting me down. I've tolerated it all, but I'm not forgiving and I'm not forgetting.
So you're saying it's not part of closure to forgive that person or to forgive that person. You're not saying that in order to have closure, you need to forgive the person.
Definitely. I am. Yes. In order to have closure, no, you do not need to forgive the person. There are people out there that really do hurt other people and they don't deserve to be forgiven. If you're in a relationship or if somebody's in a relationship with somebody and they have cheated on you or they've lied something big, why would you ever forgive them? They were in a relationship with you. Part of a relationship is trust. And you gave yourself over to them. You were honest with them and they lied to you. 30 years can go by. I'm not forgiving them.
Can I chime in for a second?
Absolutely.
I have like a burning desire thought.
Okay, I can't see you though. There you are. Are you on?
So I've done a lot of I'll just say, I don't care. Nobody here really knows me anyway, except for one person. I've done a lot of 12-step program work on this. And it's interesting that your opinion is that you don't need to forgive in order to heal. But what I've learned is that when we don't forgive, we then hold on to this resentment that bubbles and bubbles and bubbles, often over 10, 20, 30 years. And very often we tend to, at least for me, I would repeat a lot of these mistakes that actually happened in this relationship because I'm just so angry. So, I mean, I guess I just wanted to make the comment of in my opinion, it's interesting that there are opinions that believe that you don't need to forgive in order to heal. Because I find that it's just it just brings on more turmoil in one's life if we don't just close that door in a serene way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm never of the opinion that there's only one right or one wrong.
Right.
When we do these classes, there is no absolute, you know, so if you're more comfortable with that, absolutely, you know, go, yes, stick with what you feel.
I have another question.
Okay.
This one is more about Judaism. Let's say a Jew hurt you, another Jew hurts you. Are you, as a Jew, do you have the obligation to forgive a fellow Jew?
So Ronnie, I'm going to answer you that question as honestly as I possibly can, and then we'll move on to the next question. I'm not a rabbi. I'm only a therapist. So you know, when I can't answer the question, I don't have the answer.
Dr. Faye, can I ask a question?
Yes. Sorry, Ronnie.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
hear you clearly. Where are you?
Okay, no, I don't have my video on because I'm not appropriate right now.
Okay.
Okay, so what if you're stuck in the stage or the step of blaming yourself? Like years have gone by, you ended the relationship and you weren't necessarily like you don't hate the person, you don't blame the person, you're civil, you don't speak to the person, but you are in this stage of just going through everything in the relationship and kind of blaming yourself for things that have happened, and kind of wanting to get over that because it's like, you know, what's done is done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that's a great question. I think that's the part that was the step number 2, the self-blame. That's the part that I think is very toxic. That self-blame part. That part I think is really important to let go of. I would love that question. You know, in order for me to move on, do I need to get over the self-blame? Yes.
So
Yeah.
how do you, yes, I mean, I guess my
So
question.
that was actually my exercise question. So I'm going to tell you how you do that.
Okay.
We all have something about us that is very, very special. We all have one particular characteristic about us that keeps us very centered and very strong. So the exercise that I was going to do, which I really like, because I think it's really important to use that word about ourselves. What is the one positive word about yourself that no one could ever break about you? What is that one positive word about yourself that you would use that is your center? And that no matter what you go through in a relationship, no matter how hard the breakup might be, that is one thing that nobody can ever take away from you. And I think it's a very important exercise for us to do right now. And I would like to do that. So Irina, we're going to go around. And I think I want to give every person an opportunity to say, what is that one thing about them that no matter what, that will stand strong for them in a relationship? Because I'm going to say it again, relationships are the most important things in our life, and we take them very seriously. And when we're in a relationship, we somehow start judging ourselves by the way the other person is judging us. And I don't want anyone to leave this session that we're doing without a sense of self, without a sense of something about them that is very, very good. And that's my gift to you, that no matter what, no matter what anybody does to you, no matter what you go through in a breakup and you're going into your new relationship, that word that you're going to use now for yourself will stand true for you as you go and close the door on your relationship and move into your new, exciting, fresh, brand new relationship. A relationship that has no toxicity to it because it's brand new. Brand new relationships are so exciting. And that's one of the things that I like about ending old relationships, because you have an opportunity to go into a brand new relationship. So let's do that. Let's do that one word about you. Ready? We're doing it. So I'm going to go around the grid. Ready? Irina, you want to go first?
Okay, so what was the question? It was one word to describe.
A strength about yourself that no one can break you in a breakup?
I think my strength is that no matter who's done me wrong and who put me in an uncomfortable situation, I'm still myself. I don't try to be the same way as they were to me. So
Oh, nice.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Good.
Thank you.
I like that. Julia?
Kind of wanted to say what she said, but I guess just trying to see the good in the next person and not letting that affect what happened before to affect what happens in the next relationship. Not going so much into the past either, you know,
Yeah.
not letting what happened in the person's past, you know.
You mean not letting what happened in your past? Or what happened? Do that again. Do one word, because it just makes it easier.
One word, have you met me? It's hard.
I did.
Seeing the light in others. There you go. Seeing
Okay.
the light in others.
That's very good. I like it. Victoria? Unmute yourself.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm persevering.
Is what? I can't hear.
Sounds muffled.
The what?
Persevering.
What was it?
Persevering.
You want to write it out, Victoria? We
Did you
can't
say
hear.
sense of humor?
She's saying persevering.
Oh, perseverance. Yeah, good. I like that. Deanna?
Hi.
Hi.
I would have to say being kind to people. No matter how much I get hurt, I still choose to be kind to people, and no one can take that away from me.
I love it. Yuri?
Be honest, it's more for forgiveness for yourself.
Oh, wow. I love that. That's a big one. I love it. Thanks. Ronnie?
Can you ask me the question again? I want to make sure.
Yeah, the question is, the reason I'm asking the question, and that'll make it easier, is that it's a core strength. Like, what is your core strength so that if anybody tries to break your heart or someone hurts you, this thing about you, this core strength, they will not break that, because that is your strength.
I want to say independence.
Good.
Individuality.
Individuality. I love that. Great. Alexandra?
I would say, I guess in one word, conscious or knowing. Like, I feel like over the years, I really know who I am, and I'm very sure in that. So I think nobody can take that away from me.
Yep. Yeah. Michael?
Similar to what Rania and Alexandra said, I would say self-awareness, knowing where you are.
Good.
That helps.
Yeah, it's just so important. It's so important, because that means that if and when someone tries to hurt you, your self-awareness will keep you strong. They can't break you, because you know who you are. I love that. I love it. Gabrielle? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
A core strength.
My core strength?
Yeah.
Not in a public forum.
But we know what it is. Okay. Eddie?
I don't know. I would say I'm cocky and I'm confident.
Yeah, I love it. Good. Hannah Landman.
I think what I would say is like what really helps me is like to love God and to hold on to God. Like that really helps through things.
Wow. Wow. Leah?
With me, I know that before I would end anything, like whether it's with myself or with anyone else, I know that I gave it everything that I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Anna?
Acceptance.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's big. Ari, hi, Ari.
Hi, Dr. Faye, how are you? I would say no grudges, like no matter what, whatever happen, like whatever the person, whoever the person chooses to be the future with, like to wish them the best of luck. So like no grudges mainly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Michelle?
I would say a strong God believer, like what the other girl said.
Yeah.
You know, hold on to God, believe that everything happens for the best.
Wow.
And just because this chapter closes, I mean, another one won't open with good, you know.
Yep. Sarah?
Love and trust for God.
Also, wow. Emily?
I think like bringing positive or like energy into the relationship. And like I do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark? Okay.
Oh, I'm just observing today. Thank you.
Yes, I know. I just figured that out because it's being recorded. Anna? Is that Anna's iPhone? I don't know who that is. I'm going to move on. Raquel?
Values and goals.
Say again?
My goals and my values, like my respect, that I should be respected. And
yeah, I love it. Good. Tatiana?
Hello?
Hi, where are you? Is that our Tatiana?
Hey, from Poland trip, yeah. I would say that whatever happens, I usually take it with humor, you know? It's not like I make fun of it, but I just take it, so that helps me usually to, I guess, to be happy, you know? Whatever happens, that you just...
And Rachel?
Sorry, my video isn't on, but I'm probably going to say self-respect and
Good.
faith. Yeah, self-respect, because everything comes from that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. So I think that those are very, very, the fact that you were able to say these, it's very relevant, very, very relevant. Because again, let's just say one more time that we all go through relationships and we all go through heartbreak in relationships. And it's painful. I think that having a core strength, knowing that this is who I am, this is what I believe in. I am a person that's a very accepting person. I'm a person, all those things that you all just said. I'm a person that's a very conscious person. I'm aware. I'm a person that believes in, I'm just a godly person, and that gets me through. I'm a person who is a very kind person. I'm a person who, I just don't hold things. I'm not a begrudging person. That core strength, the fact that you said it and you brought the words out of your mouth, that will give you the opportunity to be able to say, you know what? Yeah, the relationship is over. There's hurt, there's loss, there's grieving, but you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to move on to another relationship. I'm ready to have a brand new relationship. It's very interesting. They actually did a study on people who ended relationships. And guess what? People who are out of relationships, the higher percentage of people that get out of relationships, by the time 3 weeks after the relationship is over, they are happy that the relationship ended. And it takes time. It takes time. But if you go through the feelings, people are happy that they have an opportunity to go into a fresh, clean relationship, that they can go into a relationship where they're not being put down, that they can go into a relationship where there is no baggage. And it's a very, very, very positive experience. But how do you get to that positive experience? By saying goodbye to the old relationship, by accepting the loss of the old relationship, by accepting that I'm grieving for the loss of the dream. But guess what? I'm going to have an opportunity to create the dream with another person. And does that happen? Happens all the time. So that's basically our class for tonight. Everybody good? Any more questions, or we're good to go?
I didn't get to say my word.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where you ended up. I didn't see you on the grid. Yes, what's your word, Kaya?
I've been painting in my studio. My word is resilience.
That's a great word. That you know that no matter what, you're resilient. Yeah. Thank you.
May I just want to say, it was probably the most eye-opening session. And since you focused on forgiveness, just maybe wanted to add just a little thought. I remember one of the students who was caught stealing in my school. And he came to my office after it was proven, and he said, "You're probably gonna expel me now." And I said to him, "Go back to your class." And it was so amazing. He was so amazed that I forgave him that he drastically changed. And he actually did something amazing for Rage years later. He didn't charge for a big job that he did for the Rage building.
Wow.
And when I spoke to people and students then, they said, because when you forgive, you believe in him. Forgiveness is a sign to give you a second chance. And I was thinking that in order for us to learn the art of forgiveness in others, we sometimes have to learn to forgive ourselves. Because sometimes we're very harsh for ourselves, on ourselves, and not forgiving our own mistakes. I'm in a way relating to the question, like, do you need to forgive others? And I wanted to say that maybe the greatest art is to learn to forgive yourself. And I don't know if I can ask maybe to expand in the future this question. Sometimes people continue to live blaming themselves for mistakes, not just blaming others, but themselves, and how we can move forward with leaving it behind.
So, Rabbi, if there was one word that you would use for your core strength, well, what would that be? Because I love what you just said. If there was one word that you could use for your core strength, what would that be?
You're talking about just my strength now? You're talking about in this conversation?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot. And it's like one Rebbe said, oi to people, a person who doesn't know his weaknesses, but oi vavoy to someone who doesn't know his strength. What is my strength? My strength, I believe that I need to learn firmness. I need to learn how to be firm. But my real strength, that even when I'm firm, even breaking relationships, I still know how to be kind and forgiving.
Yeah.
And even when I fire people, which I do, or I did, or even when I expelled students, over the years, I had to learn that I still need to be myself, doing what I need to do, but it's how to do it. It's about how you go about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true for you, Rabbi, that you are probably, well, I would say kind, wise, forgiving.
No. You know my name in Hebrew? Aryeh. And I didn't realize it. It took me many, many years to realize that even though I was born as Lev in Russian, I needed to learn to become lion. In other words, my main challenge always, I needed to stand up to KGB and to different situations, being a principal in school, even in Rage. But it's easy, like to be firm is easy. But to be firm and still respectful and kind and forgiving, that is the challenge for me. which is just to get angry and whatever it is, and be firm and strong and being aligned. No, even when in other words, when I'm saying what is my goal is yes to be firm and resilient, as I heard, but still to be myself.
Rabbi, I have a question. It's a question that I asked Dr. Faye before, but in a totally different context. You told us your story about the KGB interrogating you and trying to get you to sell out your friends and snitch on your friends and all this. Are you now, as a Jew, as a religious Jew, do you forgive the KGB?
What an amazing, amazing question. And I have to tell you, Ronnie, really it's a question to Dr. Faye, I'm sure as well, and I'll tell you in a moment, Dr. Faye will answer. But I want to tell you, I was really moved by a lady who spoke, I believe maybe a year ago, how she was tortured by Dr. Mengele. He and her sister, I believe her sister was killed by him. She was tortured by Dr. Mengele in concentration camp. And she made a video that she forgives Dr. Mengele. And it hit hundreds of millions of views. And she said, I do not want to bear a grudge and pain. And I want to live pain-free. It's not because I agree with Mengele. It's not because I in any way think that what he did was not a crime. Because I want to free myself from resentment. So I cannot tell you that I forgive KGB. No, because from time to time, when I hear about some Putin's or whatever people working, whatever it is there, I sometimes get very emotional. I get very emotional. I'm not on her level yet, no. I'm working on it. Not because of KGB. I need probably to free myself and I need to go back into these experiences and maybe analyze them. It's a wonderful question that you ask. And Dr. Faye, what do you speak, how do you say about your mother? Did she forgive Nazis from Mauthausen?
You know what, Rabbi? I don't have to go back as far as my mother. I don't forgive the Nazis for what they did to my mother. As a matter of fact, like now with what we're going through now, with these crazy demonstrations and fires, it is bringing back to me the stories of Kristallnacht that our grandfather went through. And I don't forgive them. I will never forgive them. I don't forgive them because I'm thinking of the pain that I go through, and I didn't even experience it. I only heard about it as a child. And sometimes I think that maybe my pain of hearing about it as a child maybe was even greater than the pain of them having gone through it, because I cried for them, for the pain that they went through. So I'm feeling the same way as you, Rabbi, that it's just, Ronnie, it sounds wonderful to be able to forgive everybody, but it's not real. It's not real, because there are people out there that I don't feel are worthy of forgiveness. And Rabbi, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Ronnie, do you hear what the rabbi is saying? He's saying that for my own self, wouldn't it be better if I could just forgive? Wouldn't my heart feel better? Wouldn't I be less toxic if I could get that toxicity out of me, that feeling of hate and not forgiveness? Wouldn't I be a better person? Maybe, but
Dr. Faye, I think Chaya spoke here about Alcoholic Anonymous experience, and I'm myself was very deeply involved in dealing with alcoholic and drug addicts and read all the books of Dr. Persky about it. I think that he actually stated that the reason why Alcoholic Anonymous is so powerful is because psychology or psychiatry actually realized later on that it's a pain of not forgiving somebody, harboring resentments, what drives people to painkillers. And if you take a person from alcoholism, he will just switch from one addiction to another, to drug, from one drug to another. And unless you learn the 12 steps, the art of forgiving and letting go, you will continue to be in pain. So the question is, of course, we do not agree with KGB and Nazis and all kind of terrorists living around us. But the question is how to live healthy and happy lives, to give our children and our friends happy experiences without being traumatized and giving all this trauma to the next generation.
Rabbi, I just want to make one comment. I love what you said. I just want to clarify to everybody who heard me mention the 12 steps. I am not in AA or NA. I'm not going to mention which programs I'm in, but it's not AA or NA. I just wanted to clarify that.
It's wonderful. It's one of the most beautiful programs.
No, I follow the same principles and steps and traditions.
Absolutely.
In my
Thank you.
It's just
Thank you,
there's
Chaya.
like
You don't have to worry. I don't think anybody was judging you. I think we're all just busy.
I know, but he made the reference. So I just wanted to clarify that
Thank
I'm
you.
not. I am in a program that follows the same.
Yeah.
In another 12-step fellowship.
Absolutely clear. It's clear. But that's the idea basically of Jewish ideas of forgiveness. In other words, Dr. Tversky said that if you harbor resentment, it's like giving your enemy rent-free space.
In your brain, in your heart, yes.
And, right. So, yeah, Dr.
That's what
Yeah,
it's
what I was
about.
going to say is that's what we say about victims of domestic violence. We try to explain to them that they are giving the power of their life over to somebody and allowing themselves to be abused. And that's why we try to empower them so that they will become strong enough to be able to leave that kind of a relationship. But anyway, so back to our topic. And all I want to say is that for those of you who have been in heartbreaking relationships, we have all gone through heartbreak, all of us, and that it is an opportunity for growth. And think of it in that perspective, but think of breaking up in a relationship is an opportunity for growth. And what else is life about but about growing? So on that note, I'm wishing everybody a safe week, a happy week, and I loved seeing everybody. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Faye.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Dr.
This was
Faye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.